Okay. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item is roll call.
Alderman West.
Here.
Alderman Stanley.
Here.
Alderman Palatek. Here. Alderman Arnold.
Here.
Alderman Headley.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
There's a quorum present.
All right. Next item will be invocation from Pastor Darrell Jones of Crossroads Church, and we follow by a pledge of allegiance from Alderman Stanley.
Ready to go. Tonight, God, we give you thanks for our community and for the opportunity we have to participate in it, to be recipients and to be givers of generosity and compassion, and just for the bond that we can have, and for those that avail themselves of that bond. And we give you thanks tonight for these men and women who sit before us and are entrusted with the opportunity to make decisions on behalf of our citizens, the weight that they carry, the criticisms that they often have to endure. We just ask God tonight that you would bless them for their time, their efforts, their energy, for their stewardship. And God, I just give you thanks tonight for the opportunity to steward these things that you've entrusted to us, our homes, our families, our community, our businesses, and our city. And so I just pray your blessings tonight on the transactions. May it be for your glory and in your name.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item is approval of the agenda.
No changes, Mr. Mayor.
All right. No changes. We'll move on to proclamations. First one is for Dave Miller for Guinness World Record for most targets shot in 1 hour. Come on.
Dave, how are you? Good to see you.
Whereas the city of Grand Valley, Missouri wishes to acknowledge and recognize Dave Miller for shooting his way into the Guinness World Record, and whereas Miller broke 3,653 targets in 60 minutes. That's one target every 0.82 of a second. Alex Angert, an adjudicator from Guinness who had traveled from New York to oversee the world record ascent, stepped onto the platform and made it official. And whereas Miller's world record also paid big for charity, chapters of Pheasants Forever, a national conservation group, collected pledges on Miller's performance. By the time it was over, they had raised $80,000 for the organization's youth programs. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Grand Valley Board of Aldermen and I, Mayor Mike Todd, acknowledge and recognize Dave Miller for being a Guinness World Record holder. Whereas the City of Grand Valley, Missouri wishes to acknowledge and recognize Reed Atkinson and the Grand Valley High School marching band members, and whereas for the first time, Grand Valley will represent the state of Missouri in the 2016 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York, and whereas Grand Valley High School is one of the 10 high schools selected out of 160 entrants nationwide to participate in the parade. The parade has a total of 10,000 participants of various kinds. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Grand Valley Board of Aldermen and I, Mayor Mike Todd, acknowledge and recognize Reed Atkinson and the Grand Valley High School marching band members for this achievement.
If there are those band members here, if you want to come on up and get a couple pictures.
While they're coming up, I would like to say that part of the application process was we had to talk about the city of Grand Valley, and they do a vet on the actual city because for a brief moment in time, 50 million people start thinking about this community. So congratulations to the council as well. You have an incredible community here, and that was part of the application process. So thank you so much.
You want to read it, I'll deliver it from them after a bit.
Whereas the city of Grand Valley, Missouri would like to congratulate Paul and Melva Weiss of Foxtail Drive. Whereas Mr. and Mrs. Weiss will be celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary on Saturday, August 8th. The city is happy to say that they are spending that special day here in Grand Valley, a city they both love. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the City of Grand Valley Board of Aldermen and I, Mayor Mike Todd, recognize Paul and Melva Weiss for celebrating 60 years together and wishing them many more years of happiness.
Okay, and I know they're having a celebration here, I think on the 8th, so I will deliver this to them at that time. So, all right. Next item then is citizens' participation. We ask the citizens who wish to address the board, come forward to the podium and microphone that they're setting up there. And please give your name and address for the record. Any citizens who wish to address the board?
My name is Jan Brill. I live at 1035 Ephraim Road, and I've been nagging you for a long time about payday loans, but I have a different but connected issue. I put in front of you two items. One is the letter written by the Missouri Municipal League. When I was a alderman on a much smaller city, we lived and died. We didn't have a Missouri Municipal League. We'd been in trouble. This was written before Governor Nixon vetoed House Bill 722, requesting that he do so, because they felt it was not the role of the state legislature to limit municipalities' ability to establish their own policies. The bill kind of came in under the radar and got passed, really quickly, and the Municipal League didn't have time to oppose it, so they responded in this way. The bill was originally to forbid cities from outlawing plastic bags or charging for them. They added at the last minute inability to do anything with the minimum wage. It will come up in the veto session. As a matter of fact, the caucuses for the Democratic and Republican Party will be this Thursday as they prepare for the 7th September veto session. And a lot of cities have contacted their representatives asking them not to sustain the veto so that it doesn't become law. I also included some information about it in the things I put at your table. My biggest problem with 722 is kind of, where do you get off telling us in Grain Valley whether we can have plastic bags or not? It really, I don't think, is the business of Jefferson City, and it kind of opens the door to them telling us as Grain Valley citizens and you as our representatives what we can and cannot do. And since payday loan is an issue close to my heart, it could also interfere with that. I mean, they would have to pass another bill, but it sets a precedent that I think is not good. So I want to put it before you. I wouldn't know anything about it if it weren't for my connections with payday loans. And the best thing I think that you could do, or I've been told that we can do as a city, is that the city council as a group sends a letter from the mayor with the support of the city council opposing an override of this veto. And if that's not possible, contacting, if you feel so moved, our state representatives. And the citizens who are here can also do that. Just contact them and ask them not to override the veto of 722. You know, we've always learned that the government closest to the people is the best government because it responds to our will. And nobody in Jefferson City is listening to us on any of these issues. And so I think it would be a much better thing if the veto is not overridden, and I humbly request that you take whatever action you deem proper. But I think it's important that quite quickly, if we do not want this bill to take effect, that we let our representatives know that we as a city don't feel that these kind of decisions should be made in Jefferson City. They should be made in Grand Valley. Are there any questions? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else wish to address the board? All right. Seeing none, move on to consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
I have a motion from Alderman West to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Headley. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Seeing no previous business or new business, we'll move on to presentation. It is a staff report from the Grand Valley Chamber of Commerce. I'll turn it over to them.
Good evening, Mayor, Aldermen. Thank you for allowing me to present to you this evening. I'm Rachel Hummel with the Green Valley Chamber of Commerce. I've got a couple months under my belt now and thought I'd come and introduce myself and share with you what's been going on at the Chamber. First of all, I just want to give you a little background. I've worked in the private sector for my entire career to date. The last 20 years I've spent as a commercial construction project manager. I became involved with the Blue Springs Chamber of Commerce in 2008. I went through leadership class and enjoyed it so much I became a member of various committees there. I moved on to the executive committee and finished my year as chairman of the board just last year. And I'm very happy to be here in Green Valley. So what I want to share with you tonight is our status. This is just a few of the many things that have been going on. I attended a MACO conference in April. It's a group of Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, and Oklahoma Chambers of Commerce. We get together. It's a great networking and education opportunity, and I brought back plenty of information to share with our board. We have increased our membership by 10 and renewed 14 members since March. Our current membership is at 106. We've reviewed and revised our budget for this year. We recently sponsored a successful fireworks tent in conjunction with the local Boy Scout troop. And we are currently planning the logistics of the totally awesome 80s Green Valley Fair in September with the assistance of our committee members. These are just a few of our future and preliminary goals. I plan to revise member sponsorship options for next year. Definitely need to increase community outreach and involvement. We're going to develop a 5-year business plan, an emergency action plan, and we want to add fundraising events to fund a scholarship for high school students. And again, these are just a few of the many things that have been in the works for the past few months. Do any of you have any questions? Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
No additional presentations. Move on to ordinances.
This is bill number B-15-16, the second reading, which will become ordinance 2365, an ordinance by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to enter into a Transportation Alternative Funds Program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Eagles Parkway Sidewalk Project.
Mayor, I move that we accept Bill 15-16 16 for its first read, bring it back for its second read, emergency.
I have a motion from Alderman Arnold to approve Bill B-15-16 for its first reading, bring it back by title only for its second reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Headley. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, I'll let Mr. Murphy fill you in about this. This is actually just something that's coming back to the board in a different format that MoDOT would like to see.
Yeah, this is the exact thing that was proposed. I think it might have actually been the first night that the new board was sworn in. If you remember, the city got basically grant money through MoDOT for a sidewalk project on Eagles Parkway. At that time, they just told us that we needed to get the board approval. So we did that in the form of a resolution, and now 2 months later, we got an email from them saying that it needed to be an ordinance. So hence this same exact packet of information and the request for 2 reads tonight so we can get that moving. So this will be, we'll look at the design part of it in 2016, but this will be 2017 funding.
Anyone have any questions?
Need more grants. Keep it a good word.
Seeing that's an additional, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
6-0 first, Mayor. This is bill number B-15-16, the second read, which will become ordinance 2365, an ordinance by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to enter into a Transportation Alternative Funds Program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Eagles Parkway Sidewalks Project.
Mayor, I move that we accept Bill 1516 for its second read and make it ordinance 2365.
I have a motion from Alderman Arnold to approve Bill B-15-16 for its second reading, making ordinance 2365. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Stanley. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Alderman Arnold,
Yes.
Alderman Johnson,
Yes.
Alderman Powell-Check,
Yes.
Alderman Headley,
Yes.
Alderman Stanley,
Yes.
Alderman West,
Yes.
6-0, Mayor.
Next item is resolutions.
Is bill number R-15-54, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, authorizing the use of Jackson County's 2015 pavement maintenance contract for the city's 2015 street maintenance.
Mayor, I recommend we accept, resolution R-15-54 as read.
I have a motion from Alderman Johnston to approve resolution R-15-54. Do I have a second? Second, Alderman West. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, I would like Ken just to quickly recap for you what all this will cover for the 2015 CIP.
Yeah, just bigger scale. If you remember, as we go through, we have trouble funding transportation projects, especially maintenance type requests. So what we run into is we don't have a big enough, scale of projects to get a good bid. So starting a couple of years ago, we started kind of piggybacking off of Jackson County's contract because they go out for a competitive bid, but it's a lot larger quantity of scale, so they get a lot better bids than we do. So we piggyback off of that. For this year, Foxtail was the big project, and we will also be using this contract for the parking lot at Walnut in Maine. So every year as you guys approve the CIP projects, those costs are kept down a little bit because we are able to take advantage of these contracts. If we didn't, we'd be able to do a lot less square footage of roadway.
Okay. Anyone have any
I have
questions?
one thing. Is on the paving of the parking lot, is, taking out that tree anything to do with is that set in the plans or anything? I was noticing that large tree has a lot of dead limbs on it. It's gonna be a potential problem for any cars parked there.
It's not part of the road project. That's something that we've looked at, and we probably are gonna end up having to take that down.
Okay, because there's not much life to it anymore. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have any additional questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
0, Mayor.
Next item is city attorney's report.
No report.
Next item is city administrator and staff report.
Mr. Mayor, we will start with Chief Starbuck about National Night Out next week, and then Mr. Murphy has something.
The annual National Night Out will be next Tuesday evening, next door here, or in the pavilion at Armstrong Park, and have a wide variety of public safety exhibits, the police canine demonstration, as well as lots of entertaining items for the kids. So we'll be putting out one last push to invite everyone to that. Any questions?
Mr. Murphy?
Mayor, I just had one thing. We're having our annual Household Hazardous Waste event, partnering with Jackson County, and that'll be this Saturday from 8 to noon. And that'll be on Old 40 Highway at the Jackson County Public Works Facility, so basically right across from Monkey Mountain Park. But this is an opportunity for everybody to get rid of the paint or oil or, those types of things that you're not supposed to put in the normal trash. So it's free for Green Valley residents. So hope to have a good turnout for that. It's 8 to noon, rain or shine, we were told.
As many of you received an invitation to the Bright Futures Green Valley Breakfast, that is next Thursday, August 6th. If you haven't already RSVP'd to the school district, you're more than welcome to RSVP to me or to the school district. So if you need any information on that breakfast, just let me know.
And then the only thing that I wanted to remind you of is that we have the Toast to Our Town Gala coming up. It's September 12th. We'd asked about it last time. We heard back from several of you. Right now we have seven attending the gala, and also found out from Mr. Alan Lefko that he'll have a couple seats at his table if anyone else is able to go or would like to. So that's the only thing that I have.
Ryan, when is it again? Because I was going to ask that when we got done.
Yeah, September 12th. It's Saturday, September 12th.
Okay, put me down, please. I don't think anybody else just me.
Put me down, I don't know, or is it either one? No, you didn't, but that's okay, I forget. I think that's everybody then.
It's cool.
That isn't necessarily the formal.
It's a formal.
There's a mixture.
We're talking an 80s progress. You see.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Next item is Board of Alderman reports and comments. Alderman Palachek.
None at this time.
Alderman Arnold.
Nothing at this time.
Alderman Headley.
Nothing this time.
Alderman West.
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Alderman Johnson.
I want to thank Ken Murphy for the job he did, and I think he did a very good job, and appreciate it very much.
Okay. Alderman Stanley.
I just have one thing. Do we have an update on when Oak Grove is going to be done with their bridge from Alva backing up to Green Valley? Do we know when that's probably going to be up?
That's state, that's snow.
Yeah, I know it was, the original table was 60 days
Okay.
to be completely done, so I don't know where they're at.
I think they're actually running a little, they ended up shifting traffic over into the other lane about a week early, so if that carries through, maybe they'll be done in 6 weeks instead of 8.
Was there an accident that happened there?
Which one you want to talk about?
It was by Oak Grove, I did. Actually, it was by Odessa.
Yeah,
It didn't have
it
anything
was
to do with
further
the...
down.
We've had a number of minor rear-end accidents out here, but
Oh, I do have one more thing that's brought to my attention this morning. One of my residents had said that, why are we calling them speed humps instead of speed bumps?
I said that too.
He said that's where he come from, that's like a derogatory slang for women, soliciting. So I'm like, oh, I didn't really know about that or think about that.
Actually, there's a reason.
Yeah, they are actually called speed humps. I asked the same thing.
Because they're not as
First time I heard
big,
it.
right? They're not as...
Yeah, it's okay doing this.
He was like, I didn't do something about that. It's like, I'm like, I never knew that.
That is the... Because they're not as big.
Humps
Yeah.
are big humps,
Yeah.
and bumps aren't that big.
I didn't make them.
Question was in the record.
I mean, I've always seen speed bump myself, I've never seen hump, I never paid attention to the sign and say hump and bump, I
Is
just.
this something different being temporary too, as opposed to permanent? I don't know.
No,
It's more the size, isn't it?
Speed bump, there's speed humps, and there's speed cushions. And depending on the
cushions.
size of all those and the height.
I think cushions are smaller, right?
I think.
Okay, Ken, I'm gonna need you to give me like the difference between them so I can give a copy. Cause this gentleman's gonna wanna know, like, really, what is the difference?
A bump and a hump.
Alright.
That's all.
That's, okay. Next up is mayor's report. I have nothing to report. Next up is executive session. We do have a need for what items?
Legal and real estate, Mayor.
We have need for, under legal and real estate, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn an executive session.
So moved.
Motion Alderman Arnold, I have a second. Second Alderman Headley. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Alderman Palachick? Alderman Arnold?
Yes.
Alderman Headley?
Yes.
Alderman Webb? Alderman Johnston? Alderman Stanley?
Yes.
All right, we'll adjourn the executive session.